I can also confirm today that I have reasonable grounds to believe, on the basis of evidence collected and examined by my office, that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant bear criminal responsibility for the following international crimes committed on the territory of the State of Palestine from at least the 8th of October 2023. The crimes include starvation of civilians as a method of warfare, willfully causing great suffering, serious injury to body or health or cruel treatment, willful killing or murder, and intentionally directing attacks against a civilian population, as well as crimes against humanity of extermination and or murder, persecution, and allegations of crimes of committing other inhumane acts. It's alleged that these crimes were committed in the context of the ongoing armed conflict and as part of a widespread and systematic attack against the civilian population of Gaza, pursuant to a state policy. Unfortunately, these crimes continue to this day. My office submits that these individuals, through a common plan, have systematically deprived the civilian population of Gaza of objects indispensable to human survival. We have reached that conclusion based upon interviews with survivors, many eyewitnesses, experts, from satellite imagery, statements from Israeli officials, including the 2 individuals subject to the present application, as well as based upon several hundred authenticated videos, photographs, and audio recordings, many of which were taken and shared by victims and eyewitnesses themselves. This systematic deprivation resulted from a decision to impose a total siege on Gaza by completely closing the 3 border crossing points, Rafah, Kerem Shalom, and Erez, for extended periods of time, and by arbitrarily restricting the transportation of essential supplies, including food and medicine, through the border crossings after they were reopened. The siege, the total siege, also involved cutting off cross-border water pipelines from Israel to Gaza.
There's still a lot of scant details about the death of the Iranian president, which seems to have a lot of shady stuff around it. Like, and I hope that Israel and the West had nothing to do with this, but we've seen over and over again the Israel and the West poking the bear at Iran, and them being the bigger man, them being the main thing that's preventing World War III. So, as much I would say there would be hellfire and brimstone if Israel did this. Who knows, man? Because I thought that when Israel launched those attacks in Iran, but Iran is forced to be the grown man at the table. So we see this story is developing. We're gonna have more on this on Tuesday with Lion Cosgrove. But I'm gonna read this tweet from Danny Haifong. Iranian President Abraham Razi, hope I'm saying that right, has been confirmed dead after a days-long rescue mission. And now the Iranian president grew Iran economically despite sanctions. So before we are too judgmental on other governments, I gotta ask you guys this question. We see Skid Row, we see millions of Americans that are homeless. Where are the sanctions on us? As people are judgmental towards Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, and Iran, we have people who live in poverty, despite the fact that we have no sanctions, but we have leaders in these countries, like in the DPRK, Kim Jong-un, who did a great job in managing his population and keeping them afloat, despite raising sanctions against those people. And I know you're not allowed to say that in the West. I know a lot of people mind are decolonized. I know a lot of people mad because they got nukes, but them getting nukes protect their country. They feed their people. They provide housing to their people. They provide healthcare to their people, and they are under sanctions, my friend. Yes, it's not perfect in North Korea, but I cannot emphasize again, they are under sanctions. Kim Jong-un did everything he could to protect and safeguard his people, which is why he is beloved in North Korea. Ooh, I know that stings for you guys to hear because your mind is more colonized than you think it is. So Iran, who has a government who I have no reason to despise, who I may not agree with, according to Danny Haiphong, sorry, I know you guys are roasting me for my pronunciation. You guys know I'm not a good linguist. Raisi? Anyway, I appreciate the corrections. But he grew the economy despite sanctions, which should be praised. He joined BRICS, which should be praised. Restored relations with Saudi Arabia. China played a big part of that as well. His relationship with BRICS played a big part of that as well. So these are great things. And if you're in Iran and you want to put pressure on your government, I'm all for that, baby. I'm all for revolutionary energy. I'm just as a taxpayer to the empire, to the taxpayer, the most violent. Damn, you guys are going to roast me for a while, huh? As a taxpayer to the most violent empire in human history, I'm just analyzing these leaders in terms of their impact geopolitically. And I think that's what we should do. And he defended Palestine as leader of the axis of resistance, so the multipolar world will mourn. So I'm going to cover this more in detail as we get more information and as I learn to pronounce this motherfucker's name, right? But I seen a segment from Fox News when I was preparing this. We don't have time to watch it, where they were essentially saying, hey, rest in peace. Good thing, fuck this motherfucker. He deserved to die. So I already know the talking point from the West is extremely stable, I'm sure.